where is the best place to live and what school is good for my kids. And he said, come on, come to Oakville. Oakville is the best place to live. And here is also Appleby is the best school. And I searched online. Wow, I was so impressed by the beautiful campus and so many activities, after school activities, and so many options for extra co-curricular. So that's my dream school. Then applied for Appleby, and my daughter had a very great time, 4 years at Appleby, and started from grades 9 to grades 12.
And in what ways do you think the school was what you expected, and in what ways was it different than what you expected?
I think she already had everything she likes. She choose what she likes to learn or to study.
Right. Good.
And developed her own personality. That is very, very good. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good.
Yeah.
Sonia, what about you? What's your story for why you originally
well, I
chose
must
that?
read a very long story. I moved from the UK in 2018 after having lived in 7 different countries before. With every move, our main focus was to look for the right school for our children. And with 2 kids, every move I tend to leave one kid behind. So I left my daughter behind finishing her university, and I came with my son. So even though the Canadian system is different from the UK system, we saw that the facilities and resources such as the sports that Appleby offered was similar to what our son required.
Yeah. What about how it met your expectations, or different? What do you think was different about Appleby than what you had anticipated originally?
It wasn't different from the previous schools that my son had been. He had been in other school systems. He had been in a single all-boys school as well. And one thing is that met expectations for my son and that ticked all the boxes was actually being a co-ed school as well, and multicultural school. So that met our expectations because my son was used to being in an international environment, and Appleby offered all that.
Great, thanks. Vanessa, same question.
Well, actually, it's kind of a funny story because I didn't really want my kids to go to Appleby. My husband had graduated from there. We live in Oakville. We've lived here for over 20 years. But I was a product of the public school system and sort of felt that I wanted that same experience for my girls. My husband convinced me that we were going to try Appleby, and from the very first week I was sold, and I had no idea what they might have been missing. So it was that I really didn't understand what a school like Appleby could offer. I just was unaware and thought that I knew better because I had just come from a different system. So very grateful that he convinced me, and we're all very grateful as a family now that they've gone through 2 of them have gone through the program. Couldn't have asked for more. I had no idea what I could possibly have missed out on.
And Vanessa, what do you think the biggest impact the school has had on your children that have attended?
I would say that it's building confidence. I'd say that both of my kids going through the program, doing the boarding in grade 12 and going off to university, I felt that their level of self-confidence was something that I just was in awe of, and I think it comes from Appleby.
Great.
And I've watched my younger one go through, and she feels the same way. There's so much to try and so much to do and so much support that it's just a wonderful confidence builder.
Fantastic. Vera, what do you think for your daughter who's graduated?
Yes, graduated. Yes.
What do you think the biggest impact has been?
The same answer.
Yeah.
The biggest impact is building my daughter's confidence, and also the ability and also courage of questioning authority. And we are original came from China, and my daughter Sally had a not very happy experience in China when she was in grade 8. Yeah, so she didn't do anything wrong, but her teacher asked her to apologize and for nothing. I think, yeah. But here at Appleby, she was so confident, and she can, if she has a different voice, she can argue with her teachers. She can discuss with teachers, and it's amazing. Yeah, nobody is a expert. Nobody is a specialist. Nobody is authority. So she's so confident. That's the biggest impact for her.
Great, great. And Sonia, what about you? What do you think the biggest impact has been?
I think based on the experience my son had moving to Canada, it was that initial phase when we told him we're moving to Canada, and he was reluctant. He didn't want to leave the UK, and he was even willing to board in the UK and let us leave. And his fear was actually to be able to adapt to a new school system, and whether he would be able to make friends. And obviously, what Appleby had, and they have a wonderful program, which is the orientation trips. This happened before COVID. He was in grade 9. And he went on this trip because until he started school, he was not confident in be able to make friends. And this trip actually made a big difference to him. He went to the trip, he came back a happy child. It was an environment that Appleby created outside school, where the kids were able to meet colleagues and meet the teachers. So it was a very informal environment for them. And I find that the school has an impact, and it shows to be a warm and friendly environment for new students, any student that comes to Appleby.
And the trip that you mentioned, is that the Temagami? Yeah.
Which is a very, very good trip for any child to go on, to be able to break the ice, any new child that comes to school.
Yeah, wonderful. Good. And what do you think, if he were here, what do you think he'd say about the school?
Today, my child is in grade 11. He speaks differently about the school. He loves the school. He's even talking about going to the universities here in Canada, which a couple of years ago was not the case. He would have wanted to stay in the UK or in Europe. And I see a child that has actually loves the school environment, loves the multicultural, and and also he finds that the children in general, the students, are very friendly, and he knows, and the children are aware that the school will act if there are any issues immediately. So he feels safe and he feels adapted in a school.
Great. And Vanessa, what about your children? Would they all have the same unified voice in speaking about Appleby?
Well, it's funny what you get out of them years later. It's like 22 and 21. I think they have a different perspective now on Appleby. I think they're very grateful for the experiences that they got. And when they went off to university, I think they quickly learned, that so many people who had not been able to have the experiences they had when they were in their little bubble, they felt that, that was sort of normal. And I think it's been an eye-opener for them to realize how lucky they were to go there. My daughter, who's there now, she's in grade 11. She loves it. It's, there was lots of tears summer when, the idea of not going back was in a conversation. There was lots of tears, and never known a kid who wanted to go to school so badly, but she would say it's, she loves it. She loves the energy. I actually asked her, she wrote down a couple things for me. She said, it's busy and it's fun and it's high stress, but she said in a good way. She loves the energy there. The kids work really hard, and it's cool to be smart. And that changes everything, because they really do enjoy the work part of it as well as the fun part of it. And I will say my older children, their best friends are still the kids that they started with at Appleby in grade 7. And they've gone off and done their things, but when they're together with that Appleby crew, they say it really just feels like home.
Awesome. Vera.
I just asked Sally today please say something about Appleby, and she mentioned 2 points. The first one is that Appleby always pushed you to grow, because the environment is very important. All the friends around her is outstanding. Yeah, the friends, they have optimal rewards, they have service rewards, and then yeah, she also I wanna these rewards as well. And also, as she mentioned, Appleby provides many opportunities for the students. For example, the students then can have own clubs. Yeah, they can have like dance club, you can art club, anything you can build an own club. And then many after school activities, yeah, start from grade 9. It's mandatory for students to have after school activities. And also academically, you know, many options, yeah. And you can learn the Chinese, you can Spanish, you can German, many different choice for the students.
Thank you.
And this is, yeah, she wanted to say about her school.
Great. Now, this is a question that I've never really given much thought myself, but Sonia, if the school were to be represented as a single person, what would its personality be like in only 3 words?
Supportive and caring. I think all students at Appleby are not treated just as a number, but they are valued as individuals. The teachers go out of their way to get to know and listen to the students. So I feel that the children are all not in a group. They are looked upon individually and treated with their individual needs.
Great. Vera, how do you think?
See 3 words. The first word is intelligent. You know, students accepted by the top university in Canada and the US, so it must be very intelligent, and the students are very successful in career. And also the second word is versatile. Yeah, Appleby is very strong academically, and also very good at like hockey, swimming, and the school play is amazing, right? And the third word is inclusive. You know, we come from all over the world, whatever the skin color and whatever the background, we are all one community, Appleby community, one family. This is inclusive, the third word.
Great, thanks, Vera. What about you, Vanessa?
I had thought through a few words, but I mean, as a personality, I would say that Appleby would be warm and kind, and just, I think I wrote it down, warm, kind, and friendly. I think those are the first key ones. I don't want to discount the fact that it is also very bright. I think that you do bring out the best in, academically in students, but the first thing that you feel is included in a community that's warm and kind and caring.
Wonderful. How would you describe the values of the school, the values of the families, and the values of the community, Vanessa?
Sorry, did you say Vanessa?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I would say inclusivity, absolutely. Fairness, transparency. I think those are some key words that I would come up with on the values of the school. I mean, I know all of the dealings that I've had over the years, and you can imagine there's been many, with some of them really positive and some of them not so positive. Just having kids go through different things at different stages of their lives, and I always felt that the school had my back. I always felt that they would be fair in however they decided to deal with things. I always entrusted the school and the staff there to manage any situation. I had faith that they would do the best job that they could, and I always felt that we worked as a team.
Great, great. Sonia?
I think it's belief in all students' potential, a passion for excellence. I think the respect for others in the community, and then the multicultural community that the school has.
Wonderful. Vera?
The value of school at Appleby is a great platform for either for students or also for parents to learn the new things. For example, when I moved to Canada, it's a different lifestyle here in Canada and in China. So I learned a lot from the Appleby parents, and for my daughter as well. It's a great platform to learn subjects or to learn new things in different way, and also for him to socialize with her friends whose parents have the same view of a world, view of life, view of a value the same. So I feel very comfortable with the parents. So I feel like it's a big community. And also, I think Appleby offers many resources for the students. For example, the outdoor education, Tamagami, already mentioned, yeah. For grade 9 students and grade 10 students, they must go Tamagami for canoeing, for snowshoeing in a very cold winter. It's challenge for the students, yeah. And also for grade 12 students, the guidance counselor will give them very professional suggestions for applying for universities. Is very helpful. And the value of family, I think family is also a part of school. We support the kids in different way. That's the family's value.
Wonderful. Now, without naming any other schools or any direct comparisons, to the best of your knowledge, what do you think most differentiates Appleby from other schools? Sonia, why don't we start with you?
I feel it's the strong parent community that the school has. The parents are very actively involved in the life of the school. In turn, also helps the children knowing that there's someone else there as well. They are there with them. The school also has its advisors, the guidance counselors. So there's always a lot of resources that the school has that helps the child through the whole school life.
Great. Vera, what do you think that the main differentiators are for Appleby?
I don't have any public school experiences here in Canada. The education system is totally different, here in Canada and in China. In China, the schools focus on academy, but here, Appleby, I think, will help students achieve comprehensive development. My younger daughter used to go to an all-school private school. It's like a more local private school, but Appleby is more international. It's more open. The view is more open and has wider perspective. I think Appleby, and I don't think there are many schools like Appleby for grade 12 students to board at a school. That is a great experience, to get students ready for university. That is a big difference.
Yeah, sure. Vanessa.
I would say, and I don't have a lot of other experience, I just have experience through people I know who are in different school systems, but just the resources and the ability to, have their advisors and the guidance and all of those other elements, the whole Tomogamy leadership program. I don't know many schools that have those extra options for the kids. Obviously, the sports and everything have been also fantastic. I think that for us, it was important because our kids weren't super sporty, the first two that went through, and Appleby created environments where they kind of had to be, and they really enjoyed it. And I don't think they would have been able to do that at a regular school. I just think there was lots more opportunities and resources for them to experience just a wider breadth of things to do over those years.
Great. And what do you think families would find most surprising about the school? Vanessa, why don't we start with you again?
That's a tricky one. I think the diversity, both culturally and economically, I think that has been a really pleasant surprise. And I think it is to a lot of people who don't know Appleby and they come in for the first time. I would say my personal biggest surprise was the value in the boarding of grade 12. I think a lot of parents come in, and I heard it, I think, from every single parent when their child first enters in grade 7 or grade 9. They're like, "Oh no, we're not gonna board in grade 12. There's no way I'll be ready for them to board in grade 12." And you quickly realize that it's the best thing for you and for them. And it's just such a great eye opener before they go to university, just to, have a little bit of practice on the studying, the independence, and quite simply, getting along with roommates and figuring out what that's all about. And it's not your family, and you have to, sometimes adapt your behaviors and figure out what's important to you with roommates. So those were all really valuable lessons that I think were a big surprise that we just didn't know to expect, but we're thrilled when we were able to go through them.
Great. Sonia.
Vanessa basically covered what I wanted to cover about the boarding. So I will move on. It's the amazing grounds, the sports facilities, the variety of activities that school has to offer, being music, being drama, whatever the kids want to do. I find that the school, the parents will be a surprise compared to other schools.
Vera, what about you? What do you think people would find most surprising?
The first surprising thing is we have a very dedicated and hardworking principal. We can see him everywhere on campus. Yeah, you can see him greeting the students in the morning. You can see him say hello to everyone on campus, and then you can see him at every event, open house, Christmas tree trimming, Chinese New Year celebration. Yes, he's so nice. And my daughter, my elder daughter left Appleby in 2016, and he still remembered my name and also my husband's name. It's amazing, It's just surprising me a lot. Yeah. And then the second thing I want to see the relationship between parents and the school is so harmonious. Yeah, I want to repeat again and again. It's a family. Yeah, this is the most thing surprised me.
Great. And have you found much of a difference in the Appleby experience for those of you who had multiple kids go through? Has their experience been more or less the same as one another?
Me?
Vera, yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, I'm also asked what's the difference between Appleby and St. Margaret's. It's all girl school. Yeah, so I would say Appleby provides more opportunities and more opportunities for kids, and the teachers level I think is higher than the other schools.
Great, thanks. What about your co-curricular involvement of your children while at Appleby? It's something we've sort of touched on here and there, but I wonder if we could think back to what your kids have been involved in over their time at the school. Vanessa, why don't we start with you?
Well, it's just such because it's mandatory, I think it's fantastic. I think sometimes when kids are going through high school, it's easier if something like that isn't mandatory. I think sometimes you'll get a lot of kids who just won't participate. I think my kids might have been those kids, but because it was mandatory, I think that they were pleasantly surprised, and so were we as a family, and some of the cool things they got to do. And then in the end, when they're writing their their equivalent of a resume to go into university, like they have this beautiful list of all these things, whether it was the newsletter or it was organizing the formals, or being on the student council, all of these things that they had on their resume, that that was just part of their everyday life there, and it was considered absolutely normal, and everyone participated. So normalizing all those extras is a really, really nice benefit. And then just going back to your other question, the school has changed I've watched it change considerably over the years. I've always been very impressed, but Innes has added a whole other level to that school. He is a fantastic headmaster, and all of the new build and everything else. I mean, our children didn't really get to always experience all of that. So it's just gotten better and better every year as we've been there. So just wanted to add that in too. I think the difference in the 8 years or 10 years since I've been there has been fantastic.
Awesome. Sonia?
My son has been, he's a very sports person. He loves trying out everything that is sports, and he's been trying out rugby, soccer, and basketball, but he saw the level of competitiveness that the school has. He was given the opportunity to join the rugby team, and had the wonderful opportunity to go to Argentina this year with the rugby team. So that for him was a wonderful experience, and opened up a lot, being with the team, working as a team, and coming back, and and to be able to have all those facilities available in Appleby is amazing.
Great. Vera, what have your kids been involved in their time?
My daughter is joined the choir at Appleby, and every event she sang a song at the chapel, and she also joined the chapel service. So it's a very good experience, and even when she went to the university, UFT, she also a member of the university choir. And she mentioned that I'm used to be a member of Appleby choir, and one of the coach, she used to teach at Appleby, and she was accepted immediately. Oh, you are from Appleby, and I know Dr. Morrison. She's a very, very, very good, high level teacher, and it's very good experience for her. Yeah.
Great. For those of you visiting, please do feel free to ask any questions that you have in the chat. How do you think each of your kids' transition to the school was? I know, Sonia, you spoke a bit about that in terms of Temagami, that trip being really integral to a good transition. Vera and Vanessa, how do you think your kids transition to the school?
I feel super fortunate that our kids started, all of them, in grade 7. I do always say to people who are thinking about Appleby that I always say, if you can, it's a wonderful experience to give them that middle school experience before they hit high school, because it just gives them a level of confidence when they go into high school. They know the grounds, they know the routine, and you know, they often already have started a group of friends. It generally changes once they hit grade 9 because there's a lot of new students who come in. I think the classes double from grade 7 to grade 9, if I'm correct. But so I didn't have a lot of transition of it because they're all new kids coming in grade 7. But again, there's 50% new kids coming in grade 9. So those are nice, easy transition years. And I think if you're even not in those years, I think Appleby works really hard to integrate the kids with their programs right in the fall to get them all doing something outside of academics together, whether it's Tomogamy or Pinecrest or any of the outdoor stuff. That really helps. But we were very lucky to be the new students with all the new students.
And Vera, coming from Beijing and coming straight to the school, how do you think that the transition?
My elder daughter started Appleby from the grade 9. So in the first 3 or 4 months, it was not easy for her because it's a new country and different education system, and all new. Everything was new. But after 4 months, she made friends. She got along with almost the students. Yeah, she got very well. And my younger daughter, luckily, she started Appleby this year for grade 7, and no problem with her because many many girls from her school. And she also has a best friend at Appleby, and she's also making new friends. Just in 3 weeks, she already has 2 best friends right now. So I don't think absolutely no problem with her.
Fantastic.
So I would suggest if the parents could apply their kids for grade 7, it would be better than grade 9. For transmission. So all students are new.
Great. So we do have a few questions coming in, and just a reminder that that these are questions meant to be directed at our parent panel. So if if you have any private questions, then feel free to get in touch with us in the admissions office. I'll also say that we are also having a virtual open house on Saturday, October 17th and Saturday, October 24th, if you want to speak directly with particular faculty members as well. So some of the questions that are being posed, what support have your kids experienced to improve their reading and writing skills, particularly at grades 7 and 8? So Vera, I suppose you have a student in middle school right now. What sort of supports has she been experiencing?
My younger daughter just got in grade 7 in September. It's only 3 weeks, so I don't know exactly what support the school will give to her. But I think the summer reading books are very helpful. In the first or second week, the teachers already discussed with the students about the summer reading book.
Great. And Vanessa?
Well, I'll just say, I mean, in more general terms, reading and writing, but I would say the one thing you'd find with Appleby is there's so many resources. The teachers make themselves available to help the students outside of their regular classroom time. So I would say if the specific child needed a little extra on reading and writing, it's all there. It's completely accessible. So they're always reminding the kids that they can come by the office, they can email the teacher if there's something on an assignment they don't understand, and they get responses, and my kids even joke that, the teacher will email them back and it's 9 o'clock at night and they've asked a question and they're somehow, still getting an answer if they need one. So I would say the teachers definitely go out of their way to make sure that everyone has what they need. And if that means getting a little extra outside of the classroom time, it's all there and available.
Great. Here's an interesting question for all three of you. If there's one thing that you can think of that that Appleby could do to improve, what do you think that might be? And Sonia, why don't we start with you?
I think maybe if you move to someone else, I'll limit.
Okay, sure. Sure. Who's willing to go first on this one?
It's a tough question. It's really tough question, especially as I said, because over the years I've seen nothing but improvement. I don't have a good answer for you because I think that they'll exceed your expectations almost at every turn. I haven't run into anything where I thought that they didn't handle it well or I was disappointed with how something went, whether it's an extracurricular activity or anything. So I honestly don't know. I don't have a good answer for you other than my expectations are always, I'm always amazed at what they've come up with. And I'll use this COVID and this summer as an example. I think most parents would agree that they went over and above in all of the precautions that they took to be able to get our kids back in school. And I don't know of a school that did that, in private or public. I was speaking to friends who I have from Vancouver, from New York. They couldn't believe what Appleby was doing. For everything from the plexiglass dividers to the new air filtration systems to the whole plan of cohorts and the testing and how they were bringing the borders back. It was an overwhelming concept in March that this might have to happen. And that to me is just an example of where Appleby went way over and above what I think anyone had an expectation of. So I'm sorry, I don't have a question on where they'd improve because it's a tough one. It's an amazing place.
Great, thanks. Vera?
I agree.
I agree with Sia. I don't know in which area Appleby should get more improvement. We already get the new buildings, the campus is so beautiful, and then the teachers are amazing. Yeah, and the COVID-19, the school is doing an amazing job. Yeah, so can't believe the school already invested $6 million just for COVID-19, and the students stay campus safe, and for grade 7 and 8 students is every day in person, and they have the portable classroom. It's amazing. Yeah, I can compared with the private school or public schools. Yeah.
Sonia?
I was thinking about improvement.
I don't have anything that the school needs to improve on. I mean, going back to what Vanessa said with COVID was a good example of what the school did, went above and beyond to keep the parents informed, even during the holidays, keeping busy, trying to get everything prepared for the children to go back in September. And I felt that I didn't have to worry about anything. I felt that compared to my friends over in Europe, where, it's chaotic, the school systems, and I feel that Appleby has everything together.
Great.
I don't see anything to improve.
Great. So we have a question about boarding, which I'll answer very, very quickly in that 30% of our population is boarding, and it starts at grade 9. But as a couple of people have mentioned, we do have a grade 12 boarding program where all of our grade 12 students, as part of university preparation, do live in boarding. And I wonder if we could speak a little bit more about what that experience was like, both from the student perspective and from the parent perspective. So Vanessa, why don't we start with you?
You know, my kids would say it's their favorite year there. You know, I think you have to look at from their perspective. They're 14, 15, 16, and they're living with their friends. I think that was amazing. I think that it really helped them with their independence. And it was great from a parent's perspective. If you're a local parent, you're dropping them off on Sunday night. We had it usually that we had dinner on Wednesday night because I was already there with another child picking up, and then you bring them home on Friday for the weekend. So it's kind of this really nice transition that worked incredibly well for us. I think my kids would definitely say it was their favorite year. I understand there is no local boarding this year because of COVID, and I really hope for my daughter that it's back for next year because I just believe so strongly in the value of the program. You know, it's just so good for their confidence and for their independence to, you know, get their work done on their own and learn how to manage their fun time with their school time.
Vera, how would you describe Sally's experiences as a grade 12 boarder?
Yeah, she learned how to get along with roommates, and I think the first month she had a problem with a student, and then she told the teacher, the house counselor, and then she learned how to get along with her, and then she solved the problem. And then after she went to university, there's 4 students live together, and yeah, she was well, yeah.
Great.
And independently, yeah, live, yeah.
And Sonia, your son's in grade 11, right?
Grade 11, yeah.
Yeah. Is he already starting to talk about grade 12, and what does that discussion look like?
Yeah, he can't wait. I find, based on experience, I have 2 children, and my son's in grade 11. My daughter's just finished university, and I saw her transition from school to university. It was very painful because it was her first year at university, and she's in the middle of, in a jungle, in the university environment. And I felt that she needed a bit of a preparation before getting into university. And I feel that the Appleby offering the grade 12 boarding is a fantastic idea. It's a good training ground for the children in a safe environment and prepares them for the university life. And I find that it is a great idea to do that. And not only will they focus in grade 12, but it also prepares them on what life is like at the university as well.
Great. And what about the academic experience of the students? I know we've heard that it can be a lot of work. It can be stressful, but it can also be supportive. What do you think parents should anticipate, or what should students anticipate in the academic realm at Appleby? Sonia, why don't we start with you?
I find that the academic level of Appleby is at a high. There is always, if the child is struggling, there is always guidance. There's always someone that, either through the advisors, when my son had an issue with one of these subjects, I went through the advisor immediately, pointed into the guidance, and guidance had a meeting with him, and quickly they resolved the issue. So I feel that it is, if he needs a bit of more encouragement, or if he's struggling, there's always someone that will actually help and put him up to the level that it should be. Likewise, if he's actually doing fantastically and he needs a bit more work or more push, I think equally they will also encourage and will also keep him to that level that he is.
Wonderful, great. Vanessa, what would you say to that?
Yeah, you know, I've always let my kids kind of do what they want academically. The rules are in our house was like, it's your place. It's your place to do what you do, get the marks that you get, because that will be dependent on where you end up at university or anything else. So always put it in their court, and they thrived at Appleby. Not always, I'd say, you know, I have one that struggled a little bit more, but there was always access to help for her there. And in the end, you know, when it came down to the last couple of years, grade 11 and grade 12, absolutely pulled out the marks that she needed. They both got into great university, and they were very prepared. The amount of work and everything else, and I do hear from a lot of them, from when they started at university, they both actually are at McGill, that a lot of people found the workload that they were expected of in their first and second year just overwhelming. And I think they were very prepared. My girls were very prepared. They you know, they found it obviously more challenging, but they were used to that level of expectation. And you know, they're made to be very independent on getting the work done, getting it in on time. And that to me has so much value, more so than the actual mark at the end, is the ability to want to do the work, get the work done, get it done properly, and, you know, and get it in on time. And those were things that was all expected at Appleby, and they managed.
Great. And Vera, what about you? What sort of advice would you give to families? What do you think they should anticipate in terms of the academic transition to school?
Some Chinese parents said academic level at Appleby is already very high, but still more higher, especially like for math. And they say that the math is too easy for some Chinese students. But I think, yeah, Appleby already give the students many support. Like if students with issues with math or other like science, school will support them with a peer tutor or private tutor. And for those students very strong at academic, they can choose a different level. Like they can choose the AP program. They can, yeah, 1 or 2 subjects AP program. Academically very strong still for the students. They have many opportunities. Yeah. I'm very satisfied with the academic level at Appleby. It's very high, already very high.
Fantastic. Good. So we only have a couple more minutes left. Unless there's any other questions for our panelists about Appleby from a parent's perspective, maybe we could just end with a quick closing thought. Any advice from any of our panelists to any of the visitors tonight? Sonia?
My advice is do your research. Go on to the open days, ask questions, find out that if the school is the right school for your child. You yourself know your child, so you will know what questions to ask the school, and you will have to find the right match for the school and the school and the child. So my advice is do a lot of research.
Yeah, great advice. Vera?
Please come to join the open house, or if you are here in Canada, ask your kids to just to attend one day a shadow day. So if your kids like Appleby, just apply.
Just to note, we're not able to do shadow days, unfortunately, due to the
This year, no.
pandemic. But for any of you that are thinking a bit further in advance, that's certainly something in another year to look out for. Vanessa, any parting words?
I would suggest that if you, I mean, I agree with Sonia. I think, research, because obviously right fit for the child, right fit for the family is important for everyone. And I think that the school also recognizes that. And I think in their processes, they recognize the right fit as well. And I would say if you end up at Appleby, I'd say try to get involved. There is an amazing parent community, and it changes your whole experience and your child's experience. I've been lucky enough to be able to get involved, and I just love walking around the school, knowing the teachers by names, knowing a lot of the children by names. It's changed everything for us as a whole family, because we feel that we've gone through Appleby a bit together. And so it's like those years go so fast. It's hard to imagine, but they enter in grade 7, and believe me, they're graduating in grade 12 in a flash. So take the time to get involved, because just seeing your child around the school and having them see you there and be part of it makes it just so much better for them.
Wonderful. Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining the event, and certainly special thanks to Vera, Sonia, and Vanessa for offering some insights and their experiences with Appleby. For those of you who are listening in, as you'll see in the chat, Rudy has added the link to register for the open houses coming up on October 17th and October 24th, and then again in November. Just to keep in mind that the application deadline, if you're thinking of Appleby for next year, is October 31st. And I certainly would encourage, should Appleby be a school you're keen on applying to, in completing your application by that date so that you're considered in the first round. So again, thank you all for your time tonight, and I hope you have a great evening.